a lot of times what would happen is like some kid would be like, "Oh yeah, you guys are wannabes, you're wiggers, whatever. I'm gonna come crush you." And then we would pull up with like 30 kids from the hood, and they'd be like, "You're crushing who?"
So earlier you said that a whole riot broke out where it was 50 on 50, right? So can you help
Well, crazy.
describe?
I mean, that was my high school at the time. That was my high school at the time, though, bro. Because like Homewood was still Crip, East Hills was still Blood, Hazelwood was still Crip, Larimer and Wilkinsburg were still Bloods. Like those tensions were very real, and you see that reflected in even, like the Taylor gang. Because you look at them, like I mean, they're all Crip. Those are a lot of them are boys, like Lonnie, whatever. They're all very Crip coded. Like if you really like analyze the music and like see like how they move and how they're the rappers they're around and stuff like that. Like that was very real in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was one of the first cities in this part of the country. I mean, we got it probably right around when Little Rock did. Like by the time Banging in Little Rock came out, they were banging in Pittsburgh. Like there's archival footage of Crips and Bloods in our city in the late 80s, early 90s. That was a very real situation. And while you didn't have to directly experience it if you lived in Squirrel Hill, if you went to public high school, like I did, then you were going to see it constantly. And if you were friends with those kids, then you were going to have to walk those lines as well. You have to be very conscious about where you're going, what neighborhood, who you're with, whatever. Now it seems like a joke. I mean, I think probably to a lot of people. Back then, it certainly was not. I mean, this is the 90s. The murder rates were through the fucking roof. There are no cameras. There's no DNA. There's no cell trackers. None of that shit. Kids would get killed all the time. Like you would leave for on Friday, come back on Monday. They'd be like, yeah, three dudes in the class got shot. And then the things that would happen in the neighborhood would get litigated in school. Like it would bleed back through. Someone will get shot out there. Then there would be, it wouldn't be a shooting in school, but it would be like a 50 on 50 brawl. I mean, I've seen him in prison. You know what I mean? Like a straight, like gang pod brawl in the school. Tables getting flipped, teachers getting crushed, dudes getting thrown off staircases, whatever. And that was all the time.
Did you ever join a gang early on?
No, no, I never joined a gang. Again, like there's limits, man. You know what I mean? I'm from Squirrel Hill. You know what I mean? That said, I always proudly repped my neighborhood, which even led to conflict because there's a neighborhood right next to ours called Greenfield that actually had like a white street gang that went to my school. Like think of them as like the Southie guys, like Southie Irish guys from like
Right.
Boston. And they wore like green, like fighting Irish shit, Green Bay Packers stuff, green bandanas. They were kind of like a street gang, but they were also kind of racist, like racist wiggers, basically. But they were tough. Like
Mhm.
it was a tough, scrappy neighborhood. It was not a rich neighborhood, and it bordered Squirrel Hill. So you'd already know they mortally fucking hated us. So we would have to fight them all the time. Again, very like 1950s, like West Side Story, like at the basketball court, fucking, you know what I mean? Like it was this stuff happened, like it was the 90s, man. Like violence and strife and acrimony were a fact of life back then. It wasn't something that had to be manufactured for social media clout. It was something that just happened organically all the fucking time.
But there
Like you
was
knew when you went to
I'm sorry, go ahead.
you knew when you went to another neighborhood. You didn't have to be in a gang. You knew when you went to another neighborhood that if you didn't have an alliance with that neighborhood, even sliding through there, that it could be on at any point in time. That's just the way of it. I always used to say, like, every summer night felt like the fucking Warriors trying to make it back to Coney Island, like, for us, because we were, like, the 8 dudes from Squirrel Hill who were, like, on that type of time, going to different neighborhoods to go get high, go meet girls, like, whatever, and then we're having to, like, dog-leg it across the city using, like, a mixture of, like, public transit, hoofing it, sympathetic rides, whatever, and then, like, alternatively fighting, running, running, fighting, fighting, running until we finally made it back to Squirrel Hill at like 5 in the morning. And that was every summer night.
But there was a lot of racial tension at that time too, right? Between blacks and whites?
Yes, absolutely, and that was another reason why I think that a lot of the other white neighborhoods didn't like us because, like, we were with black people. Like, I mean, we hung out with black kids, like, they slept over at our houses. We went to their neighborhoods and kicked it with them, like, we didn't have those we weren't yinzers, like, because Squirrel Hill dudes, like, we're not white working class Pittsburgh dudes, we're upper middle class Jews who live in the city, or upper class Jews. So, like, we're not going to discriminate on basis of color. That's just wasn't how we were raised, it just wasn't the type of time we were on. We're more cosmopolitan than that, and that also brought us a lot of hate. 'Cause they're
Mm,
like, "Oh, not only do you wanna be black, you're hanging out with the blacks, da, da, da." But of course, you already know the dudes next neighbors, they're not using those words. You know what I
right,
mean? And
right.
so it's like so we had double duty. Like, we had to deal with it over there, and then we had to deal with it with, like, the other white kids who were jealous and or suspicious of how we were moving because of that fact. Now, there were also advantages too, because, like, a lot of times what would happen is, like, some kid would be like, "Oh, yeah, you guys are wannabes, you're wiggers, whatever, Imma come crush you." And then we would pull up with, like, 30 kids from the hood, and they'd be like, "You're crushing who?"
So yeah, you weren't really focused on school during that time. You were doing lots of drugs, ditching school.
No, not at all, not at all. Not I never went. I had a truancy case by the time I was a sophomore. I think I had 90 absences in one class, like, I was never in school.
Holy shit.
Because again, there was no computerized system. You could catch the letters before they came home. You could leave the phone off the hook. They had truancy police. They literally had a Pittsburgh. It was called the GP, the Green Police. They had a green logo on their car. But if you didn't get directly caught by GP, I mean, there was just like back then again, because before the surveillance state or whatever, there were just like thousands of truant kids just moving across the city every day, going to the pizza shops, the arcades, the fucking head shops, music stores, clothing stores, trying to get weed, trying to get other drugs, house parties in the middle of ditching parties in the middle of the day at different people's houses. Like, that was a whole culture. Like, nobody was going, we were outside, man. Like, we were going to school. And we had it even better. We had it even better because in Squirrel Hill, people are monumentally rich, like multimillionaires, even in the 90s. So a lot of people's parents, they're going to Europe for like 3 months at a time and literally being like to their kid, like, all right, here's the credit card, like fucking fend for yourself.
Right.
So like we would be picking it in mansions. Like, I'm talking like literally like giving each other shotguns through suits of armor. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I remember Tim putting on a suit of armor and having a Zulu spear, and like we're smoking weed in this girl's enormous mansion, you know what I mean, in the middle of the day. Dude, I remember like kicking it by the pool and like whacking golf balls like off the pool, like down the hill into other people's yards. We would just because those types of opportunities were open. You just do whatever the fuck it was the best life. You just do whatever the fuck you wanted to do. So it was a great basis for becoming like a large scale organized criminal. Cause like, where were you gonna go from there?
Mm.
You want to rein it in, or you want to do this forever?
You guys formed Deadly Scribes from that pretty much though, right?
Yes, 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 yeah. That
And
was
you guys
us.
were
That
like the
was
first backpacking group in the city pretty much?
No, there were other ones before us because Strict Flow kind of was like that too. RXC, Rook and
But
Bishop.
you
There are
guys
other
brought
people
like a
who have that
different
like
energy though.
no, no, no. I guess so. We were the first ones though that were like, we are lyrically lyrical underground. Like, we looked like the dudes from like the cartoon characters from the Lyricist Lounge insert. Like, definitely. Like, we were so earnest about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
with the
right.
full echo camo suits and like spray cans tucked in our backpacks. Like, we were very, very, yes. No, we were like the backpackinest backpackety backpackers of all fucking time. And all of our songs were about that too. All our songs are about like, we're the most lyrical MCs ever and gonna restore the culture. So I can only understand why like an older dude would just be like, ah, these guys. But we could rap. I mean, we had two things in our advantage. We could rap, we could battle, and we did great live shows. We did. We had
Mm.
very good. We practiced a lot together all day long. Whether when we weren't going to school, just walking down the street, and organized too. Like in Mike's room with like shitty plug-in mics, we would run through our sets like to everything from the hand movements to like the way to hold the mic. Like we were really like trying to soak up game and be good. Back then, no videos, no YouTube, no nothing. Your live show was going to be what sold you.